I just realized as I said that I cannot start with well, hello there because I'm not Lily, I'm Chloe.
Well, Chloe doesn't really have a greeting.
Well, anyway, hello. It is I, Chloe Freezer, and I have the lovely Nathan Drake by my side, other side, this side. Hi, Nathan.
Quip Nation. I haven't got any quips. Something sarcastic here. I make stupid mistakes and make my wife mad at me. That's the plot of Uncharted 4, right?
I mean, I wasn't in there, so I don't know. But I guess it is. I wouldn't be surprised. You are quite annoying, to be fair.
Thanks.
But anyway, so what are we doing today, Nathan? I love saying
that. We're talking about. Wait, should I do the actual introduction there? Because we went into this very quickly, and I suddenly feel very shown off.
What introduction? We are just calling over Zoom. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You sure you want to commit to this? This is what happens when I'm tired. And everything else.
I'm emotional.
This is manic podcasting. I'll just do the usual opening. How about that?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to All the Films We Judged Before. I'm Katie, also known as Nathan Drake, and that is Lily Kay, also known as Chloe Fraser. There is a reason for this.
Not. Wait for my line. Not Sam Drake. Huh?
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
It's very good.
If you know us,
I get it.
Yeah.
The hilarity.
Yes, and today we have a very special guest. It's a Pokemon master, Grace. It's Grace. It's Grace. Grace, come on. Yeah.
I'm the other Uncharted character.
You know that bit in Uncharted with a bunch of Pokemon?
Those who haven't played Uncharted must feel very confused.
This is the DLC.
Yes. Oh my God! Imagine Chloe Freezer.
The wildest crossover ever. Just Nathan Drake playing like Pokemon Go.
Yes, I love that. I honestly
in like all the places he goes to plunder and accidentally destroy. And he's like, I found a rare Pokemon type. The battalion.
Oh God, I like that. Grace, how are you doing, my love?
I'm doing very well, my love. Yes. Lovely Chloe and Nathan. I'm doing
I am
really
Nathan.
Well. You are Nathan. It's uncanny. I don't know where to put Leafy on now. I might.
Stick him on the thing behind you.
I'll just do this.
The table.
Is it a table? I can't tell if it's a table or not.
It's a piano.
I thought it was a.
Yeah, I'll put.
It looked like the table from here.
There we go.
That's why it was very non-specific.
Now I can do this.
Excellent.
Oh yes,
really
well
playing
done.
into the theme here.
Well,
I'm just really lucky. I had a lot of Pokemon stuff.
Lucky, or has it just been like planning for this day?
Yeah, you were planning. Come on, Grace. Come on.
I mean, this is probably the most effort I've put into a costume in a long time. So,
we're very
and considering the week that I've had here in Adelaide, that's pretty impressive. Because we've had to be in lockdown.
Oh yes,
for a few days. But lockdown's ending tonight at midnight, so
that's handy.
It was a very last-minute lockdown.
Well, who knows when the UK lockdown's actually going to end? They say it's going to be in December, but who knows at this point?
No one knows.
I don't even know if the numbers are going up.
Lockdown is only as effective as the people who follow it.
Well said. Well said. So, if you guys don't know, we are doing a very serious film podcast.
So serious.
Super,
So
super
serious. And today is a very special episode. Before I can talk, it's 11 p.m. here, guys. Okay,
It's about
I can't
10:30 here.
my brain doesn't work. So before we start, we do our usual little bit where we ask, "What were you watching last week?"
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Grace, what were you watching last week? I want you to go first because I have to try and remember what I've been watching.
Oh, how dare you!
You're the guest. You have
Yeah.
to start.
What was I watching last week? Oh my gosh. I went back and watched the Dark Knight trilogy.
Ah.
Well done. Well
Mhm,
done. I'm proud of you.
Because I've been watching the Kind of Funny podcast where they review all the films.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
in a
those.
series, and they're currently doing every single Batman film. And when they got to the Dark Knight trilogy, I was like, oh man, it has been a while since I've watched those. I'm gonna watch them again. And it was really fun.
Yeah, they're very good movies.
It always is. Yeah.
Yeah, always is. It's always a good time.
Fair.
Even the
fair.
Dark Knight Rises.
Even the
There I
Dark
said.
Knight Rises.
I like the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, it has plenty of issues, but
Yeah.
you know, it's still enjoyable.
It's still very enjoyable.
The
Come on.
quality, like we mentioned this on our very first episode of the
Yes.
podcast, back when we were Button Audio podcast, where it's like the Dark Knight Rises may have its issues, but the quality of it, because it's a Nolan movie, is still way higher than a lot of other stuff that's come out. Where
Yep.
it's like, this is just well made, even if the plot is a bit messy.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
A little bit.
We can deal with it. We can live with it. It's fine. What about you, Katie? Did you think of something?
Just that, still watching Daredevil.
Oh yes.
Slowly making my way back through that. Yes, exactly. That is the reaction I should get when I mention Daredevil. Because
It's like, oh yes, and then I'm sad because I want
oh
more.
Matt. I have a screenshot somewhere from like a Daredevil comic, and it's just like a speech bubble that says, "Damn it, Matt! Now is not the time for Catholic guilt."
Oh, you love that one. You love that one.
I love that.
It really cracks me up every time I see it.
feel that in my soul. I feel that.
It makes me very sad that one of the reasons it makes me very sad that we didn't get another season of Daredevil, not only for the obvious reasons, but also because we never got to see Charlie Cox wearing the I Am Not Daredevil sweatshirt.
I know.
Things I want to see.
Oh,
One day. I hope.
come on, Disney Plus.
Please.
They're not gonna do it.
Come on. It can happen. Let's have trust and let's stay positive about it. You never know. You never know.
You never
Netflix loses the rights for it
I think like this month it happens.
This month, yeah.
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 Because it's been 2
So-
years now.
So yeah, maybe.
Crossing my fingers.
All of our fingers. Okay.
What have
It's
you-
my turn now, or
Yes,
did
it
you?
is. No, absolutely, go ahead.
Do I want to talk about it?
I don't know. It's just up to you, really.
Fine, I have to because it frustrates the shit out of me. So, in the past couple of weeks, we mentioned Supernatural so much
Yeah.
that I feel like it's now a pattern, especially with me because I am the one who keeps bringing it up, and it happens again. I am very sorry, but it literally just ended.
Yeah. Last night.
And you know that, like, if you listen to the podcast previously, then you know that I stopped at season 5 and I only went back occasionally, especially when my friend Vic Verti was in there to check the episodes out, and I barely knew anything about it, but it did help me a lot when I was a teenager, and it still is a very important part of my life. So obviously I was interested to see how it will end, and since this episode will air in late December, probably, I can say it without saying spoilers, because if you haven't seen it, then the fuck are you doing with your life?
Also, I feel like maybe everybody's kind of left it behind at that point.
Yes, probably. So we should be fine. So basically, I don't want to say that it's once again the Game of Thrones situation,
It is.
but it's once again the Game of Thrones situation.
It's really bad.
And I am And I am so fucking. I'm honestly, like I told Katie, we had a long conversation about it. That if I would be the same hardcore fan that I was when I was 15 through 19, I would probably jump off a building. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus
Mhm.
fucking. Oh my god.
Did you? Are you? Have you read about what happened, Grace?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
I personally love it when Sam puts on a pair of glasses to show that time has passed.
The wig. The wig. Oh my god. It looked like a parody of Supernatural.
I think the Hollywood parody that they did was actually better.
The Hollywood parodies do much better than that.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you, Lily. I was obsessed back in the day. And I kept watching for so long up until about season 12. Because it had that resurgence thanks to Tumblr, I think. And it was like suddenly everyone was watching Supernatural again. And I was like, wait, what? First of all, it's still going. Secondly, what? And then I jumped back on the train and I watched it. And then I was like, okay.
There's only so much of this I can do.
I can't do, like, I love Jensen Ackles with all my heart, but I can't. I was like, he's carried the show long enough. I can't do it anymore.
And they gave him that ending.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, I was the same. I don't want to repeat myself, but then I want to tell you, Grace, because you probably haven't heard that yet. So here we go. I was really depressed when the first season arrived. Like I was bullied. I wasn't doing well at school. I wasn't doing well on the friends front, obviously. And then this show came on at the right time because I was at the point where I had suicidal tendencies as well. So if it wasn't for Supernatural, I would probably not be sitting here right now. And it's hard to say it out loud, but at the same time, you know, I am very, very grateful for the show. And it helped me through so much, and it actually taught me how to open up better to people, how to make better friendships as well. So that will never ever go away. And you know, even the fact that I stopped at season 5, like you know, I obviously finished that and then I just didn't watch it anymore after that. But you know, it's always going to be a big part of my life, and that's why I think I am very disappointed in this ending, even without watching the rest of the seasons, because it is so unfair to the characters. It is so unfair to the story. Like I told Katie that I went back. I wrote a lot of fanfics. Like, let's just put that out there. 15 to be concrete.
I mean, yeah.
Me too.
And I inserted myself in there. I'm not even ashamed of it. I'm like, come on, Dean was my boy. Dean was my boy. I was like, give it to me.
We love a tragic man. We love a tragic man.
We love a tragic man.
Oh my god.
And I even told Katie that I read one of the fanfics after this tremendously bad episode, and I was like, I finished their story off better than they did now. I'm not even joking. I'm like, I wrote a much better ending for this without even knowing all the stuff that they went through. And I think what upset me the most, like everything upset me in the episodes. Maybe that was one saving grace that was like, okay, I'm fine with this. But what upset me the most was Dean. I mean, like, even knowing that poor Jensen Ackles was saying that he's not happy
get on board
with how it
for ages.
No. And you know, I'm like they had the audacity to put that line in there that we always knew that this is how it will end up. And I'm like,
really? Impaled on a hook? Like a tiny nail?
Like, just pull him off. He'll be right. Just help him. Help.
Probably apply some pressure to that. Take him to a hospital.
Just
would have been fine.
He's actually,
But no.
so
Dean died of tetanus.
disappointing. Yep. Yep.
That's the one I've been seeing kind of thrown around a lot. Where it's just like Christ alive. Like on even on an objective level. Like I said, I haven't really been watching. I haven't watched it for like the past 5 years or so. But yeah, I obviously had my time really enjoying it and being a big fan of it as well. But on just a purely objective level, I'm so tired with shows and their inability to understand how their characters have evolved properly and give them an ending for them as they are now and not for the characters that they were at the beginning. Because that shouldn't matter. It's the same, it's kind of the same feeling I had with How I Met Your Mother, which still pisses me off to no end. It's the same feeling. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I got annoyed at the last episodes of Game of Thrones just from an outside perspective of somebody who understands what narrative means. It's like, just recognize who your characters are and actually end their stories understanding where they've come from and who they are now. Because you can't end a person's story based on who they were at the beginning. Because that doesn't apply anymore, especially for a show that's been going for 15 fucking years.
And considering the actors themselves have not only been those characters for 15 years, they know a little bit about them, you think?
Probably.
But they've also directed episodes, they've helped write episodes. If an actor isn't, and I'm not saying that actors have like, you know, the final say in what the character does, because, you know, that's the sign of a good writer, is when even the actor sometimes can't quite see where the story's going. But
yeah,
if the actor is so not for that sort of decision, you kind of
might want to go,
think,
I wonder why that is. Maybe we should have a discussion about this.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know how many discussions were had, but, you know, Jensen Ackles isn't the kind of person that would say, oh yeah, it was great, I loved it. Like,
Jensen's talked about this a couple of times. There's a couple of great little videos he's done. One, I sent one to Lily earlier that was like him at a convention where he was literally like, they presented us with the ending. It wasn't like a meeting. We didn't get any input in this. They told us what the ending was going to be, and it didn't sit with him properly for like days. He had to call like Eric Kripke and be like, I can't get on board with this, and I don't know, maybe I need somebody else to look at it. And Kripke kind of talked him into it, which is like so wild to me. But
he hasn't worked on the show in years.
Yeah, but also he made the characters, so having like this third party thing. Yeah, I can see maybe how, from like his perspective of somebody who's just kind of told you what the ending was, they could twist it in such a way so that they could get him to a place where he could get on board with it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that his instinct said it wasn't good, and really maybe writers should listen to that instinct. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think on the whole, what you said before, Katie, was spot on. Like they ended the characters' stories as if it was like season 3 or something, and I was like, really, but surely Sam doesn't want that anymore. No. Surely it would be the opposite. Yeah, you know, if anything else. And when I saw, because I was like, oh, do I want to see how it ended? And then I was like, nah, screw it. So I went on Twitter and I looked at all the things, and I was like, really? This is like what they've already done this. This was like the entire plot of like season whatever, when Dean disappeared and then Sam ended up living with a nice girl and a dog. Like they've already done that. Like
they did that for both of them as well. Because like
I know
in season 5 when Sam went into the pit in the cage, Dean went off
the real ending
found like the actual ending of the show, where Dean went off and actually got the ending that he probably should have gotten this time, where he lived out his life properly instead of just dying in combat. Again.
That was probably my favorite tweet I saw about the ending was, oh man, Supernatural was so good. I can't believe they only gave it 5 seasons.
Yeah. Did I make that tweet? I don't remember.
I know.
It feels like it came from me. Like,
I saw very similar ones when I saw The 100 ended, a show I never watched, and also got annoyed just reading about what happened.
Yeah, I stayed away from that show. I don't know why. It just never appealed to me.
I tried to watch it. I watched like a few episodes, but I couldn't really get into it. My parents watched all of it and pretty much hated it the entire time. They were
I
like,
love hate watching a show. I love
we
it.
started this and we're just invested now, even though we're both really irritated at it.
It's like, God damn it. Oh, God, that was like me reading the Twilight books. I'm like, well, now I have to know how it ends. And I'm reading it like, God, I hate this, all of it. Ugh.
That was me reading when I read those books when I was 12. I was reading New Moon, and it was the first time I actively remember getting bored reading a book, but I wanted to get to the end because I wanted Edward to come back. I was like, I'm really fucking bored, but I know he's going to come back near the end of it.
Oh, Edward. Oh, Batman.
Oh, Batman.
What a blessing Robert Pattinson is.
Truly.
Oh, yeah.
We have spoken
Now
about
he
this
is.
before.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm not going to bring anything up that you guys haven't already covered.
We do love
It's
Robert.
possible. It's possible. Yeah.
And that's our weekly Supernatural.
Goodbye, Supernatural.
Goodbye, Supernatural.
Fuck you guys.
We can
The
start
writers
seeing
didn't
Carry
understand
On.
you at all.
Nope,
your impact
not at
was
all.
Sure something.
But yes, and I think Katie put it best for me is that it hurts because it mattered, and
Yeah.
and
For
that
sure.
that is I am also looking down, so I don't want to start crying when we are recording, but it's been an emotional day, guys. So please understand. This must look so weird.
It's
But,
just intense staring.
It's very intense. But yes, wait, I can do it. Oh, thank you,
I will
Supernatural,
say,
for everything.
yeah. For sure. Considering how just not good it got, it's pretty amazing. Firstly, 15 seasons for a genre show, for like a sci-fi horror show.
Plus one
Insane.
that I think actually had decent ratings the entire time, which is stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like ridiculous. And despite how long it went, it was kind of the first show to really have like a crazy fandom. That's kind of where fandom comes from, I think. From memory, like the idea of fandom for a TV show and like...
I think you could get that to Star Trek, actually.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
But I think
I'm not saying it was the very first fandom.
I think internet fandom, there was a sort of
internet fandom.
Really,
yeah.
And you can point to Supernatural as being certainly one of the first huge ones.
Yeah, internet fandom, like the audience and the fans kind of contributing to the show in such a way that the show recognizes them in many, many ways. And then like the interactions between the cast and the fans, and I think that was kind of one of the first really big internet fandoms for sure. And then you had like Tumblr in 2013 and 2014 was just hashtag super hulock, am I right?
Oh my god, I'm having psychic damage.
I know, my fight or flight response just kicked in. But it was, I think it's got a remarkable legacy. I will use the word legacy. It has a remarkable TV legacy. Like everyone knows about Supernatural, even if they never watched it, because it's just been around so long.
Yeah.
So
and it was consistent, and what I loved about them is that they never took themselves 100% seriously, and I think that helped the ratings as well. Like they knew that some of the stuff that they put there was just like pure ridiculousness, and they went with it, and they did it so well. And when they had to be serious, they could do that as well. And I mean, come on, like Jensen and Jared were the best possible choices for the guys, and then later on Misha joining in is just it was just
he changed it for sure.
Let's be honest, Misha saved Supernatural.
He did,
because it was dying before he came in. Like I remember that my friend told me that don't count on watching this show when we are at university, because obviously I started when I was 15, and then it's already been 4 seasons, and she was like, yeah, it's gonna end, so don't expect it. And I was like, trust me, my friend, when I say this, that this show will be here for a long time. And I was right. I was right. It's been here even longer than I could have imagined. Like, you know, I obviously, as a teenager, I had a sentence where I was like, it will never end because this is the best show ever. But, but I never thought it like as, I never said it seriously. I think I was always just like, I love it so much that I cannot.
I don't want it to. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, they had a wonderful run. They fucked it up with the ending. I'm just gonna put. I can't let it go. I am so sorry. I cannot.
My favorite one that I saw on Tumblr, I think it was like the first one on the tag when I woke up in the morning, was just a picture of Sam in that really bad wig and the glasses, and like a screenshot from one of John Mulaney's stand-up where he goes, and he was wearing glasses to show that time had passed.
It just hurts my brain.
And I was like, oh god.
Oh god.
And I will say this: you guys did Castillo dirty. That was
You
not
fucking
fair.
did.
That was
consistently though.
Consistently.
For years.
So sad.
Man.
You
So
know, they never figured out how to spell his name properly either, because the show consistently insisted on saying it was with 2 S's, and everybody else like, no, one S.
No, it's
And they went, no, 2, and went, no, 1.
no.
Definitely one.
It's not like Cash lives in my ass. The dude's busy. Cash, get out of my ass.
I was never in your...
I had booked down my first meeting with Jens and Jared and Misha. And it's not going to happen, obviously, now. So, once again,
Oh man.
fuck you, 2020. It was my big chance to finally talk to them and tell them what is going on
time.
and how much they have. So, fuck you, 2020.
Those
I
boys
think-
will be doing those conventions for years to come, though.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I
they've
really hope
made
so.
conventions, like multiple conventions specifically for Supernatural.
For them, yeah.
Which
yeah.
is amazing
Oh.
as well. I
Maybe
mean,
the-
one of the many things that was amazing about like the Supernatural fans is how much shit they managed to organize like effectively.
So many things, yeah. It's unreal.
Oh, maybe they'll actually be able to come to Australia now that they're not filming 18 months of the year.
Well, that might be a different thing for Jared, who's picked himself.
Oh,
into,
yeah.
Texas Ranger.
Chuck
Walker?
Norris.
That's
2.0.
it. Wait, what?
Texas Chuck Ranger. That's the one.
Yeah,
Chuck-
we can
Chuck
roll with
walking-
that.
Like he's doing like a
The
Chuck
Texas.
Walking Ranger.
He's doing
What?
like a proper weekly one. He's cut his hair as well, like for the first time in ages. Like he's got short hair. It's the weirdest thing to look at.
He's never had short hair in his life. Gilmore Girls doesn't count. I'm excited for the boys though.
Oh yeah, I said this to Lily. I was like, at least now Jensen gets to go on a show where he's going to have a proper, decent
gets to
character
be, like-
arc and like a really like
I'm so
fucked up and
excited.
interesting character on a show that's consistently excellent.
I'm so excited to see like his
And he will probably
range. He's a phenomenal
He will
actor.
probably die of. Yes.
Rusty nail
Although,
syndrome.
You know.
Rusty nails.
What
That's going to be his thing. He's going to every character he plays is going to die the
He
same
done, like
way.
a weird reference to that in the new season of The Boys, just to like really poke fun at
Probably.
it.
Oh, they will. But that, you
Maybe-
can be 100% sure of that. But you know, I am 100% sure that Soldier Boy will die a horrible death. So
Yeah, but at least then
Gonna
it would
be
be
great.
satisfying.
What?
But I
That's
mean,
so
like,
morbid.
an actual character arc that's built properly and being like, I can see why
Yeah.
this happened and it makes
Yeah.
sense for the character. That's what I mean.
Katie
I
just
mean-
wants to watch Jensen die.
I know. I can tell. It's very very very
if
frustrating.
if I tilt my head, I get a good shadow.
Every time you get it like properly covering your eyes, all I can think about is George Clooney in Spy Kids.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yes, I've got the
Where
the
he
old
like
bar
just
on
takes
the
off the bar and he's like, look, can I talk to you properly for a sec?
We all know it's me. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Spy Kids,
Oh, it's
But not really. the Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I
sequel.
had like a brain aneurysm about that last night because I saw it come up on my Instagram and I went, I've never watched Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That's the first
Oh
bit.
my God.
But it was the fact that it was like they had a kid and I was like, the fuck?
but it just looks so good in such a bad way.
In the perfect Robert Rodriguez kind of way.
Yeah. And all of his films are in the same. He's kind of like, he does a Stephen King, like his films are in the same universe. So like
That makes sense.
Machete
for, like, the
Machete
tiny-
is in the same universe as Spy Kids.
My favorite thing was reading a quote that said that Robert Rodriguez basically suggested that what happens with Machete and Spy Kids is like an alternate universe version of Machete, while Danny Trejo is basically just like, this is what he does on his off time.
Pretty much.
It's like the other
Love
ones
that
are
guy.
also true, but this is just what he does when he's not doing that.
Oh my god.
I love him.
So
Oh
good.
my god.
Oh man.
Wait.
I'm trying to think of a good segue into our actual topic of conversation.
Well, I can do that.
Oh,
So
do
today we are dressed up like video game characters because we are gonna talk about how Hollywood ruins video games by turning them into movies.
I think we're going to talk about exactly what Hollywood gets wrong when they try to do it, and whether or not they have the opportunity to actually do it properly. You know, if I may put a more nuanced title.
Fine.
Meanwhile, Grace is just
Fine.
balancing Pokemon.
Sometimes I forget we're recording.
Don't worry. Sometimes we do as well, so
Yeah.
it's fine. So we will start off with our guest, the beautiful Grace, the Pokemon trainer, and
He threw my
I-
Pokemon on the ground.
I will, you know, I will be the rude one about this because I am very annoyed with video games to movies kind of things. So is there any, is there any good ones out there in your honest opinion?
Well, I'll start with Detective Pikachu, I really, really like. I
Okay,
think
that's
it's
fair.
fun. I think it's it's not like, just remaking one of the other
Yeah.
movies. It's not taking itself seriously. When we found out that Ryan Reynolds was going to voice Pikachu, we were like, what?
Yes.
I was like thrilled about that because I
was like, is he gonna be just swearing all the time? Like, what's that
I
first
wish.
trailer that came out? I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. I don't even care anymore. I'm 100% in. And I
Yeah.
think the design of the Pokemon is brilliant.
Yep.
And they made it work in such a phenomenal. I think it's such a fun film, and it
It
has
is.
elements of Pokemon that like literally every age can enjoy, I think.
Okay, but does
yeah.
that count as a video game movie though?
yes, I would say it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
because it's still taking a video game IP and turning it into a film. Just because it's not taking a specific story from a video game and adapting that into a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that doesn't change it from being the fact that it is still technically an adaptation of
Because
the
it was
IP, you know?
cards, it was Pokemon cards, and then it was Game Boy Pokemon games,
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay,
then,
And then they
okay.
had
the
the anime.
animated series, and then
Okay.
movies.
I can
Um,
roll with that.
I
Then.
think, I think actually that's an interesting point that I hadn't thought of until
Mm.
just now. Pokemon already has a history of being adapted well
Mm.
in that it has its own animated series. So
Yeah.
it's like they already kind of knew how to take this thing and turn it into like
Yeah.
from a different
To expand
format.
it into
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like when I was playing Pokemon Shield, I was playing it and I was already thinking, man, I can't wait to watch the series of this one, because I was like, these characters are fun. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they do with it. But I think Detective Pikachu is like, they
That's-
couldn't have done much better with like just, they could have done anything with Pokemon, but I think the fact that they chose that, they're like, no, we're going to do something a bit weird, but a bit fun.
Pick a
but
property that's
kinda
only
touches
got
on-
like it's only technically out in Japan. I don't think there's an
Yeah.
actual like English localization for Detective Pikachu.
I
as like a
don't think
character,
there is either.
which is
If
the
there is,
funniest
it's
thing.
probably- yeah, if there is, it's probably like super bootlegged or something. But yeah, I'd say
Okay.
Detective Pikachu would be my
Okay.
favorite. I think Sonic was okay.
haven't actually seen
was
Sonic, but I did
fun.
hear a lot of good things about it.
Yeah,
I
I think it was
enjoyed
fun.
They definitely, I think they redeemed themselves with the character design. Because
Yeah,
wow,
that needed to happen.
Yes.
The fact that he had
Yes.
human teeth was very weird.
stuff of nightmares.
It really was.
Oh my gosh. And this might be controversial. I really like Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider movies. I think I really, really like them. And I think for when they're definitely films that you're like, for when they came
This
out.
movie came out in the 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Very
When,
early
and
2000s.
it had that weird industrial heavy metal soundtrack like all movies did at that time. But I really liked them. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
I am throwing you kisses because I am very biased with that one because I fucking love Angelina Jolie. Like she can do whatever. I don't even care. And actually, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies were the reason that I started playing with the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's
I did a little
Awesome.
work on I wrote an essay about video game adaptations for uni at one point because I was trying to kind of write about how movies influence video games and how video games influence movies, and I think if I remember this correctly, because this was like 3 years ago at this point, those Tomb Raider movies are some of the most financially successful ones at the time that I made the thing, because this was way before Detective Pikachu came out and obviously Sonic the Hedgehog and whatnot. They are some of the most like financially successful video game adaptation movies. And some of the highest rated as well, which isn't saying much considering if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes for most video game movies, they're in like the 30s.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But they were generally pretty decently received. I don't think I've seen them all in full. I definitely saw the end of one of them because one of them has Daniel Craig in it, if I remember correctly.
The
Is that the first one?
yeah.
And I remember looking at it going, what in the ever-loving shit am I looking at?
And the second one has Gerard Butler in there. So
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, come on, Angelina as Lara Croft is just the perfect choice. I'm just gonna put it out
Perfect
there.
casting.
Yeah.
Perfect casting.
Perfect.
That kind of very aristocratic air to her is definitely necessary for Lara.
And it was here's a trivia. It was her husband at the time, Johnny Lee Miller, who convinced her to play Lara Croft because he loved Lara Croft so much.
Did I know that Johnny Lee Miller was married to Angelina Jolie?
Now
I
you
don't
know.
think I did.
Yeah, they got together when they did Hackers. I think.
My god. Okay. I don't think I did. I did not
proud
know
of you,
that.
Grace. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love Johnny Lee Miller.
So do I, but I don't think that was a piece of information that I knew about.
Yeah.
I saw
It wasn't.
the surprise.
It was a brief. It was a brief marriage from.
Yeah. I think it was like a year or something like that, or well, not even a year. But they basically used their own blood.
That's right.
Yeah,
They had the necklaces.
Jesus Christ.
They were weird, and Angie was weird
that
at the
them
time.
or was that her next? Was that her
Or
next?
maybe it was Billy Bob Thornton.
I think that was Billy Bob actually.
Well, maybe. I mean, I have every.
I don't know why I
Angelina
know so much
information
about Angelina Jolie's husband.
because she's awesome.
She's great.
I know, but yeah, and then other than that, I always gave a chance to movies that were adapted from video games, and then I had to realize that they are fucking horrible most of the time. Like I'm just gonna say this.
Yes.
Most of
But
they are.
Here's where I'm at with them, right? I think they have the potential not to be, but the people who keep adapting them wrong. And that's my hot take when it comes to them. And it's why I'm actually pretty... Well, I don't know about Uncharted now, because actually it looks like they're copying the plot of the first game.
talking
What is Uncharted? I don't know what
Who
that
is she?
game is. Who is she?
No, because I thought they were going to do like a younger Nathan Drake thing, and they were going to do their own original story with it, which is exactly what I think they should do when it comes to a property, is take the characters and create their own narrative for them, so that you have the understanding of who they are and the universe that they're in, but you don't have to try and condense what is essentially an 8-hour game into a 2-hour movie, right? But it kind of, I saw some of the set pictures and stuff, like it's sort of vaguely spotted about the internet, and I'm like, oh no, it does actually look like they're adapting the first game into and now I'm less convinced.
No, they're definitely not adapting. It's definitely an original story.
Okay, in which case that's good. 100%. And I think that they have it.
Yeah.
Uncharted in particular has very much the potential to be a really decent film. And I've always said that I think Tom Holland has a lot of potential to be a really great Nathan Drake. He's got the right humor for it. As long as you kind of look at it from a perspective of him kind of being a younger Nathan Drake. Because he does look like the version of Nathan Drake that is like the teenage version in Uncharted 3.
That's
like
true.
He's got that kind of face to him. Who I also always think that version of Nathan Drake looks a lot like Peter Parker in the Spider-Man game.
Oh,
like the original model for
the
Peter
first
Parker.
one. Yeah.
Just I was like,
yeah.
hey, it's Nathan Drake. My only thought playing that game. Well, I had other thoughts as well, but that was my first big thought.
No, that's the only thought.
Only thing I can think about throughout the entire really complicated narrative.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I think that
so many thoughts.
I think Hollywood has it goes about them wrong, and I think they get the wrong people in to make them, where they're like, it's like, I think if you're going to make a game adaptation, you should get in as somebody who understands what the property is originally and is a fan, because like then you have somebody who's going to be like careful with it and actually do it properly and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it has, like, I don't think that video game adaptations are like inevitably doomed to be bad. I think they've just been stupid about making them, mainly.
I think they're doomed to be more difficult to make well.
That I could agree with, yes.
Because you're adapting from a medium that's completely different to film, in the sense of you're adapting from an interactive, engaging medium of entertainment where the audience member is actually the character that they're playing, because they're the ones controlling how fast the story goes and what the character does. When you're translating that to a medium that's completely passive and you're just watching it, it's always going to be, you're always going to be coming in with a disadvantage, because you're going to have to make people who already care about the characters and who know the characters so well care about characters that might be doing things that they wouldn't necessarily do. So it's always going to be really tricky. And I think, I have to say, the marketing team for Uncharted, the film, are doing a great job, because they're little teasers at a time, little bits. The fact that Nolan North went on to the movie set.
I was going to say that Neil Druckmann went as well. So they had people that like are really connected to this franchise actually going and being able to talk about their own experiences on it is very smart.
Very smart. I think they know that Nolan and Neil have an audience that will want to know what their thoughts are. And it's almost like, I kind of wish that the fans, like us as fans of the game, it's almost like, why do we need that reassurance and why do they need to give us reassurance? But it's because we care so much and because we've already had a journey with the characters. So it's like, we need to know that they're going to be okay. Like, are they looking after our babies? Like, are they okay?
I will trust it if this person says that it's going to be okay more,
Yeah.
It's like,
which is interesting.
When I found out that Neil went on set, I was like, oh, okay. Maybe this is going to be good then. Because it wasn't like he immediately came along and was like, it was shit, guys. Not that I don't think he would do that.
He probably can't do that.
Probably can't. But I also think that everything he said about it was very genuine. And I think specifically Nolan's reaction to it, the fact that he made that really long sort of live stream where he talked about it and showed all those pictures and all that sort of stuff, which I haven't actually watched because I don't think I want to look into it too much because I don't want to know too much. But the fact that he did that anyway makes me go, huh. All right, you have me more on board, even if you have got Mark Wahlberg in there playing Sully, which I'm not on board with at all.
Yeah, I'm still not.
That's not working. It's like, why? Why him? I don't get
honestly,
it. Like,
because he's been attached to it for so long. Because he was going to play Nathan Drake originally.
He's aged out of Nathan
God.
Drake. That's
Oh,
the funniest bit about this whole saga is that the film's been in production for so many years
Yep.
that Mark Wahlberg's gone from Nate to Sully. That's great.
I don't even like.
I am
Mark
glad
Wahlberg.
Is
that
it?
he has the moustache though. I'm
Does
glad.
he actually have it?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's good
he
to hear.
revealed.
Yeah.
It was like the week that they wrapped filming.
Filming, yeah,
Wahlberg posted a video of him with the moustache and was like, I don't know. He said something that was classic Mark Wahlberg. I can't remember.
Racist.
And I was like,
I'm
it's
cool.
like there was like an F word in there. I don't know. It was like, it was like don't F and ask or something like that. I don't know. He's not from New York. He's from Boston. I can't do Boston. I can't do New York either, but you know. And it was because the first shot I saw of him and Tom, and they were like in suits and stuff, and someone was
And
on,
that was.
There was
Yeah.
no
it was
moustache.
like someone had taken a photo from like when they were filming, and it was like there's no
Yep.
moustache, and I was like, I haven't been this annoyed since
I know.
the removal of a moustache since Justice
Yeah.
League. Like,
Yeah.
where is it?
You just had to. You just had to.
I was like, it's you have to have
It's
a
weird.
moustache. It's solid.
It was so weird. I was like, okay, now you ruined the movie. Like
Yeah.
how we
Fuck
meet,
you.
how
Immediately.
fuck you. Immediately you go there. But it's because, come on, like you play with these characters for hours, and I mean, like 14, 15 hours at time. I think the fourth game is like around
I think-
somewhere close to 30.
I think the first
Uh,
three are actually, they come in at a pretty solid 8 hours because I played them
Yeah.
pretty close together, and they have like a little timer, and I seem to remember them pretty much clocking around 8 hours each time. But the fourth game definitely comes in like 15, 16, maybe longer than that.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's so many hours from your life. You know these characters, you love these characters, and you know you just want them to be done right. And this is where I will say that I think the main mistake that every single studio makes with these adaptations is that they shouldn't be movies, they should be TV shows. And
Yeah.
that's why I am so fucking happy that The Last of Us is going to be a
Oh
TV
my
show
God.
and not
That's
a
going to
movie.
be really fucking interesting, especially the
I
fact that they've got a lot of
can't
Sony
wait.
people who worked on those games working on the show. And obviously the guy who's writing it, Craig Menzin, is that his name?
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually seen it, but I heard, I mean, everything about Chernobyl that came out was like, this is phenomenal television. So
Yep.
it's like you've
Yep.
given it to somebody who knows how to make good TV. And I
Oh,
think he's clearly going to be
wait.
somebody who will look after it properly and give it exactly what it should have. The
Yep.
casting is going to be real fucking interesting.
Oh man.
Oh, I mean,
They haven't
mean, it's-
announced anything yet because I think I think literally today, as of the day filming this podcast, they announced that HBO officially picked it up for a full series.
picked up the yeah.
So
my
that
gosh.
it's happening, absolutely happening. But who is going to be in it and all that sort of stuff is still a mystery.
I have to say, my hopes for this series are sky high already. Like, I'm so excited
Yeah,
because I am confident in the writers and the involvement of the Sony team as well.
yeah, it's certainly going to be. It's
I can't wait to see Troy Baker as a zombie or a clicker and get his head
at some
blown off.
point just going to
Something.
die.
It's gonna be great.
Or just like one of the
It's-
many
it's-
hunters that pops up throughout the thing and then just immediately gets murdered.
I mean, I can live with that. I can live with that. I'm not gonna lie. Also,
I can live
I'm
with
so
that.
mean. I'm so mean. I have the perfect casting for the two main characters at least. I would say pick up Caitlyn Dabber.
Yes,
for
I've seen
Ellie.
a lot of people talk about her, and I absolutely fucking adore her. Especially she was. I mean, spoilers for the end of Uncharted 4, but she was Cassie, right?
She played Cassie.
She was Cassie
Yeah.
at the end of Uncharted, so she's already got like ties to.
She's a
Sony and
great
Naughty Dog, and
actress.
she's
Yeah.
so good. I absolutely love her, and I think she's got the right sort of.
And
look to
she's
her.
a good age for it as well. Isn't she?
Yeah.
She's a little bit older,
Ab-
but she's.
She's a
I mean, they're not
going
going
to
to get an
like, she's
actual
also
14-year-old.
quite like small in stature, and she
Yeah.
can still play that sort of age range. I
Yeah.
think she
Oh,
could
100%.
absolutely
And
nail it.
she was amazing in Unbelievable, which is a fantastic show
Yes.
on Netflix. She was amazing in Booksmart,
Yep.
which is a fantastic movie.
Yep.
And then my perfect Joel, and that's a personal preference, is Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Oh,
You know what? Yes.
that's a good choice.
Really,
Good
that's
choice.
absolutely an excellent choice.
It's like I can see him do Joel so freaking well.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah. I can see it.
Fucking John Winchester had such a kind of Joel-ish like
Jo-
there's
yes.
like adjacent sort of essence to
Mm-hmm.
him. I can kind of see that definitely being.
Yeah.
I'm
I
really
can
on board with that
definitely
now.
Yeah, I'm on board.
I mean, I think it's more likely to get someone like Jeffrey D. Morgan than I know that Troy would love Josh Brolin to play.
Josh Brolin would be great as
I
well.
was
would-
saying this to my mum the other night. I feel like Josh Brolin is probably around the age that Joel would be, but he seems a little too old to me. I don't know, maybe that's me being very specific, but like in my head, he just seems like that little bit too. Maybe it's just the way he's aging. I mean, he's obviously gorgeous and all that sort of stuff, but he has. I think he looks more of his age than because I mean, sure, Joel is like a fair bit older when you actually get to the meat of the first game, but he's not like sort of 50s at that point. If they were doing more of like the second game stuff, I think I'd be more like into it, but I just feel like he looks a little too old for my taste.
Fair enough.
They can age him down.
Yeah, that's exactly what my mum said.
It exists so they can do it. And I think it's more likely to get someone like Jeffrey D. Morgan, who's mainly a TV person, than to get a name like Josh Brolin, who just did Avengers and Deadpool and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I think a lot of actors still look at TV as a step down, even though it's it's rising
I mean,
above
it's the same.
It's
very
not.
heavily. So it's not.
Gosh.
But the other one I could imagine would be Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I've seen that going around a lot.
I think
He'd be great.
he's got a very
He'd be
good
great.
like I can see his face through it, but in my head he's not. Like Joel's so imposing and like sort of built. You know what I mean? He's very kind of square, if I could use that word. He's got that kind of like
He's very
big
lean.
man. Yeah, and Jamie's quite sort of trim. In a way that these are really specifics. I think he could absolutely do the character justice. It's just in my head, it's like he doesn't look exactly what I'd expect for him. And this is what I get when it comes to casting things. I have to. It really has to match up with what's in my head, probably. Especially when it comes to like book adaptations, where I'm like, if you don't get what's in my brain, then I'm not going to be happy with it.
How do they not know what's in here?
You need to listen to this because I'm right.
We should just go and write something for Hollywood, honestly. To just
I really should get around to doing
storm in
some
there and just
We should
100%.
write the Assassin's Creed movie because that movie doesn't exist.
But they are doing a new Assassin's Creed thing, I think.
yeah,
I think
a TV show
There's
finally.
like a TV show. Netflix are doing, aren't they?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that
Thank
could
God.
be interesting. I was always somebody.
that's potential there.
Because I don't know what happened in the Assassin's Creed movie, but it
No,
wasn't
I don't know either. But I heard
Assassin's
it was,
Creed. Like I was
I heard it
watching
was
it and I'm
dumpster
like, is
And-
this Assassin's Creed? Like, what?
But the fact that it was fucking Michael Fassbender as well. Like you get
You
someone
got Michael
like him,
Fassbender and you didn't do this properly.
and
And
you
Marion,
fuck it up, and Marion Cotillard.
Mhm.
Like,
Brendan
then you-
Gleeson. Like,
Oh, I love Brendan Gleeson.
and how the fuck do you fuck that up? Like it's
And,
unbelievable.
who did they have?
Oh, pardon me.
They had Jeremy Irons. They had the guy that played Omar in The Wire. I can't remember what his name is.
So many people, so many names.
They had a great cast, but for some reason they just kind of didn't have a script.
just dropped the ball completely.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
And I really liked the way they did the animus in the movie. I really liked that.
I
like-
didn't.
I'm saying it. I really liked it.
I
I thought it was cool.
I think I'm probably one of the only people who, because I played the first 5 not Uncharted, Assassin's Creed games quite close to each other. So I played 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and 3 quite in a very short period of time. I always liked the stuff outside the Animus. And I always got really annoyed when they kind of started dropping it off, because I liked Desmond as a character, and I thought all the stuff that was going on outside was actually quite interesting. But obviously, most people hated that because they wanted to play just a game where they got to be in X time period. But at this point in Assassin's Creed life, they've just kind of dropped the...
Yeah.
Like, the other stuff, it fed into the fact that, like, there was a reason that you were in X, time period doing a bunch of random shit, right? But now they've kind of stopped trying with all the stuff outside. It feels like they're just being like, we're just making historical, like...
Yeah, after the Ezio trilogy, they were like, oh, okay, let's just hire a bunch of new writers and then not continue this story.
Let's kill Desmond off in the weirdest way possible and then never mention him again.
Yeah, he's done. Now we're going to introduce new people. Oh, well.
Such a shame, honestly. It's like, I loved the first games, the Altair and Ezio games. They were so good.
So I will say that. I love Phil. I've loved Black Flag a lot. And it was
Black
one of the
Flag
reasons
is fantastic.
It was so funny because it was like I really liked Constantine, the series that came out. They only did one, and I'm still pissed about it. It was a really good show, but it was like I was listening to him, and I was like, man, this guy's got such a familiar voice. And then looking him up and realizing that was Edward Kemp, like Matt Ryan played Edward Kempe in that game. I was like, I love this guy.
There he is.
He does such a good job. I really like.
He is.
Slightly off
He's
topic,
a lovely guy.
I really like the fact
at a con a few years ago.
Oh, God, I like it. I like
Lovely
hearing
guy.
that from people every so often. Where like, I like this person. Somebody else goes, yeah, I met him once. He was nice.
It's lovely,
Just
lovely boy.
Validation.
Lovely boy.
I like just as a small tangent. I really like the fact that after Constantine got cancelled after its very short first season, that it should have gotten more. That they got Matt Ryan and then they put him into Legends of Tomorrow and let him just like, run away with the character because it's his now. Like he does him in the animated series. He's in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Like that's just his now. I don't think we could let anybody else touch it. He's so perfect.
He does it well.
He does it well, but I am still excited that the Keanu Reeves second movie is
Oh
happening,
yeah, but I feel like
hopefully.
that's like an entirely different. Like they're two different things in my head. They like there's so much different between them that it's kind of like you can't really compare the two.
I just want to see Peter Stormare come back as Satan because he on that scene at the end
Just
of the
Peter
first.
Stormare in anything.
Come on,
And his
Come
very realistic looking teeth in Until Dawn.
yeah.
It's just something about the way he speaks in that game and the way that they animate. Exactly. It's so like, why am I seeing his teeth so much?
Like, hello.
Hello, he has beautiful teeth. He can do it. But yeah, he is the second question, which is it's a more interesting because there are more bad ones than good ones. Which was the worst one?
Well, actually, I wanted to bring this
watched.
up because I've got a list of Hollywood films based on video games, live action sort of ones on Wikipedia that I'm looking at. And if I'm going by the Rotten Tomatoes scores, there's one here that's literally 1% for something called Alone in the Dark, which I've never heard of, but 1% it says. 1%.
Yes.
The one above that, which has 2%, is the second Mortal Kombat movie.
Not surprised. Not even a little bit.
The Blood Rain movie has about 4%.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Oh
there
my
are
God.
movies that I didn't even know that they had made until I looked at the wiki. I was like, I wonder what other movies they've done because I knew about the Double Dragon and the Mario Brothers movie and the stuff they tried to do back in the 80s and early 90s. But man, they really tried with some of these adaptations.
I mean, they
Worst one.
worst one, Grace, the worst one you've ever seen.
It's funny, I haven't seen, when I looked at the whole list, I was like, I haven't seen a lot of these, to be honest. But
I think you're lucky.
I mean, I feel like every consecutive Resident Evil movie just kind of gets worse and worse and worse, to be honest.
I will say this that I actually really like the first one. I will
Yeah.
just put that out there.
I think
I
it's
don't
very
mind the
impressive
second one either,
that
because
they
it's like
consistently made more of those. They've got the series that's coming out as well. Actually, there's another one that Netflix has picked up. They're doing like a sort of origin one.
yes, they're doing a series with which they're
Proper, like,
explicitly
Raccoon
saying
City
that
and-
they're staying faithful to like the first and
The
second
first,
games.
yes. I mean, Jill
And I'm just
Valentine
like-
is coming in and everything, so
I feel like those
Yeah.
could actually be very well done. Just considering
Yeah.
how sort of, I think you're more likely to get a better result if you pick linear narratives. Like I'm thinking trying to adapt Warcraft into a movie was probably a losing battle. Sorry, Peter Duncan Jones.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did watch that. I don't know much about Warcraft though, so that's the
Neither
thing.
do I. I also haven't
I'm
seen
not a
it,
World of
so-
Warcraft player. But I was like, I can see why a lot of people would hate it. But like, that's an entire world that you're trying to make a movie about. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't hate it, but I'm not a
I don't
World
know,
of Warcraft player. So
I haven't seen it, but it's like I just remembered the reaction to it being
I mean, good on him.
negative.
Good on Duncan for
Sticking to his
good
guns.
on him.
Just keeps making
He does
movies.
make good movies.
Well,
He does
some
make
of
good
them. From what I heard about Mute.
Oh no,
Oh,
I will. I will.
didn't see. I didn't see
I
that.
will stand by Mute. I will stand by Mute. I enjoyed that movie as well, and I will stand by that
I
statement.
mean, like I
with-
said, I haven't seen like the only one I've seen is Moon, and even then I wasn't sold on it just because I think I went into it with incorrect expectations. But
Moon
yeah,
is
I
amazing.
really heard bad things about Mute, like pretty much unanimously bad things about Mute.
I don't care. Mute was unique. I would say it wasn't. It wasn't amazing, and it wasn't your
Unique
usual.
doesn't mean anything good.
It does.
When it's like if somebody goes, "Yeah, I thought it was unique."
Unique.
It's kind of like you didn't want to call it. You think it's weird.
It's weird, but it's weird in a good way. That's what I
Unique
mean
is
by
such a
unique.
triggering word for every creatively gifted child in high school.
I was always
like,
unique,
oh,
so
she's such a unique girl.
Oh,
That means I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do
her.
with this person. It really cracked me up. My little brother, my parents just did a parents' evening for my younger brother, who's he's only
Oh,
17, so
fun.
he's not like little. He's
Oh,
6
he's
foot
a
tall.
baby.
It's still
Baby.
small to me. But he, my mum kind of turned to us at the dinner table and was just like, "So, what do we think all of the Miss teachers said to him? Because this is something that was consistently throughout all of you throughout your school years." And it was like, "Was it talk more in class?" And he was like, "Yep, that was pretty much it." Every single parents' evening for my entire like life in school was just like, "We think she's doing very well, but we'd like it if she like interacted more in class and like participated more." It's like, why? I clearly know what I'm doing.
If you're doing well, who cares?
Exactly. It's like I much prefer being able to sit there and like take in information rather than trying to answer questions and potentially humiliate myself. That's the big thing with that. It's like, why won't you just let me be?
Let me be.
let it be, let it be.
Oh man,
Yes. So
we could really go on about high school reports, but
Oh my god,
that'll be a
yes.
3-hour podcast.
Oh, even more than that. I was the unique
Oh, man.
kid, so I take it as a positive.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do?
It is positive.
Did you guys see the Need for Speed movie?
Nope.
Because I watched that solely
No.
because Aaron Paul was in it, and I really like
Aaron
Aaron Paul.
Paul.
But that movie is batshit.
Yeah, I feel like that would be pretty bad.
It wasn't
I
great.
haven't watched it.
It was very generic car movie, but there is a bit in it where Aaron Paul and Imogen Poots' character basically drive off like a cliff or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I've watched it. They have this moment where they're falling through the air and she's freaking out and he's just like, "Look in my eyes," and they have these like really close-ups of their eyes and they're just like basically just staring at each other.
Oh my god.
And I remember watching it and being like, what am I watching? Because it's like, how do you adapt a movie out of a game that's literally race cars?
Race cars, yeah. I mean, it's
Just
basically
Fast and Furious.
yeah. That's what I wanted to say. We're on the same page, Grace.
Yeah.
That's 100%. I think for me, we already mentioned it. That was the Assassin's Creed was the biggest disappointment
Oh
out
my
of all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's
It
Creed
was like
so funny to me because it was like I remember because this was around the time Ubisoft started skipping years at E3 where they were like would announce an Assassin's Creed game, and in like I think the first time they were like, we're not announcing a new Assassin's Creed game, but we have got this movie. And they were really bigging up because I think they put money into it. I think they were one of the the contributors to the
yes.
well, because they weren't a producer. Oh, they're beneficiaries. Fuck it, I don't know. They put a lot of money into it anyway, and they were like, "We're going to publicly hate the shit out of this movie because we put money into this," and everybody went, "No."
I think they were really banking on it being
Really,
like
really
the,
banking
the
on it.
successful video game movie, but it wasn't.
I heard
It could have been.
I heard the Tomb Raider sort of re-up was good. The one that they did.
I didn't see that one.
I haven't seen it, but like I heard it was like it looked like a pretty decent adaptation of the 2013 one. You're clearly not convinced. No. But I was never big on that game anyway. Like the reboot for Tomb Raider. Like I liked it. It was fine.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I didn't
I
hate
like
it.
the reboot. Yeah.
But it does have some sort of narrative issues in that you literally have a point where like Lara kills somebody, she freaks out, and then 5 minutes later she's very merrily killing everybody around her, and it's like this feels like a tonal clash.
That whole like ludonarrative dissonance thing is rife within those games, but
Big time.
I think what I first of all, it's Angelina Jolie, and I cannot accept anyone else on there. So I'm sorry, Alicia. You were okay, I guess. Whatever. It's a personal buff. Don't worry about it. But I think what killed it for me is that obviously the Tomb Raider game had a fantastical element in the Weather Witch in the first game, and they kind of adapted that storyline, but they weren't brave enough to do the fantastical element, and that they just made it into something that looks fantastical, but in reality it's not fantastical, so you don't have to take it in as oh my god, something like this could exist. And I'm like, it was kind of the point of the game to some level, like Uncharted pulled these tricks on you.
Just thinking about that actually, because I'm like,
Yes.
suddenly like, are they gonna do that in this movie? Are they going to go for that slightly weird sort of mystical angle that they put in the first couple of games? Because obviously they didn't put it in the fourth game, and obviously it did not suffer for it at all. That game is fucking excellent.
Yes.
But there are points in the other games where you're just sort of like, this is stretching my belief of what's possible in this world, because there's a lot of weird shit happening and nobody's really talking about the fact that it's weird.
Okay, but in Uncharted, they explained it that they were just visions or whatever.
But not in the first game. Like
okay, not that's true. That's true.
Like the second game for that matter, because you have all of the stuff with the Chintamani stone, which literally did mean that there were certain people who used the waters of that tree and like lived for thousands of years, and you're like, okay,
Sure.
I guess this is the world we're living in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like in Tomb Raider, it was like they didn't do the trick where it's not actually a mystery. It's
No, there was
it wasn't
definitely like weird shit going on in those games.
Yeah, and it was like, because you knew about it kind of going into it, you were like, okay, good, and then they just went in the movie and they were like, nope,
nah, don't want to commit to that.
Nah, and I felt like that, as I said, I think Alicia Vikander did a good job, but I felt like that it wasn't really Lara Croft that I was watching. It was just like a weird copy, I guess. Like it was, I couldn't believe her. That's the truth. Like I couldn't believe that she is Lara Croft, and I am watching a Tomb Raider movie that is so badass, and I'm like, Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I am on board with this.
That was kind of my issue with the game as well, though, because like that version of Lara Croft never felt like the Lara Croft that I remember watching my dad play those games. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
I agree.
she always felt like, because I mean, a big part of Lara Croft was the fact that she was like, you know, proper aristocrat. She was really posh, and kind of had all of she came from this very obviously privileged background. Like, I mean, considering the fact that literally the first like tutorial game levels in those games were like run around her entire mansion, and it felt like they didn't have that kind of level of they kind of very purposely left out that level of privilege for her in like at least because I didn't play the other two. I'm sort of talking about specifically the first one.
Yeah.
And there was just things about that whole like her characterization and how everything sort of how she was built that I never quite got on board with. I felt.
Yeah.
So I feel like the issue kind of comes from the impetus when it comes to that character in that version of her in Tomb Raider, I guess.
I think as well, she was consistently sort of fighting herself in those games. I played the first two. I didn't play the third one. And I know that it was kind of like a reboot of her becoming the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
But I think even in the second one, it was almost like she was doing all the quests and she was going on these adventures. But the entire time it was like, it felt like she was just resisting it the whole time. So when you compare it to the first game, she was like, no, I'm going to embrace, like, yes, she was doing things to get there before the evil person did, but it was like, no, she's embracing the adventure and she's enjoying it. Whereas in the newer games, it's almost like every time you stop at a campfire and you kind of hear her in a monologue, it's like,
she's there.
Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Oh, everything feels so wrong. Like, it kind of felt like that every single time. And I was like, why am I playing a character that doesn't want to be here the entire game? But I will say, I think something that just popped into my head, probably the reason I love the Angelina Jolie movies so much, I think particularly the second one, is that they did it in a way, and I don't know if this was intentional, but it did feel like game levels in certain bits. Like when they're in Hong Kong, like the fight scenes felt like a fight scene that you would have in a game. And then there was like a stealth part. I just spat everywhere. Lucky I don't have a proper HD camera. They had like, there's like a part in the movie where they're like hiding in one of the offices before they like ambush one of the bad guys. And it feels like a stealth mission that you would do because they're like waiting there. And then some of the other action sequences, it feels like a level in a game. And then you complete it when they jump off the top of the building. So I think they did that really well, where it feels like combat levels in a game, or adventure, or like traversal, or the puzzle solving as well. So I think they did that really well, whether or not that was intentional. I think it does feel like that.
It brings me to a point that I have thought multiple times over the past, especially the past couple of years, where I've watched fight scenes. I feel like they've gotten more video gamey, and I don't know if this is it's a strange trend that every so often I watch a fight scene and I'm like, this feels like I'm playing a video game. Like, but they've clearly made it, you know, for this movie, or you know what have you, and it's kind of like, it's really odd, and I don't know if it's intentional, if the person who directs like X, Y, and Z, fight scene has like done it with that kind of thing in mind. But it feels like there is something about the way that fight scenes work in video games that's really rubbing off on film, because I see it a lot, where especially in like proper high budget stuff, where I'm like, like the way you're kind of moving the camera around and like see, it's because I think maybe it's partly because they keep doing these kind of like one shot pieces where they're like showing off and all that sort of stuff. But there are times where it feels very video gamey. I know one that did feel very video gamey, but very intentionally so, was in the short film that Nathan Fillion made for Uncharted.
Oh my
which
God.
is actually
I was waiting
the best
to bring that up.
fucking thing. It's so good.
Yeah,
but like
brilliant.
the entire section where you literally, the camera moves in behind him and you're just watching him. You're basically watching like a level in Uncharted, and then
the zoom in when
spectacular.
Brilliant.
So
It's
well
brilliant.
done.
I love all the people who are like, but Nathan Fillion is the Nathan Drake that we should have had. Like,
Yep.
yeah, but at this point he's a little too old, which is the kind of the sad thing about it for like a franchise. The thing that they probably want to build into a franchise if it does well. He's just a little bit too old to do it now. I say that somebody who absolutely adores Nathan Fillion. It's like a pure person, and I think he's very cool, and he clearly understood Nathan Drake and did that incredibly well within that.
That was beautifully shot.
He just got the fucking humor on it and everything. So
Everything
right.
was perfect in there. I mean, I'm still gonna say it. Like, I think he was the obvious choice, and I love Tom Holland, and I think he's gonna do great. But I'm still bummed out about the fact that it's not gonna be Nathan Fillion.
I think if
I'm
they
not
had
gonna lie.
actually managed to make this game like 13 years earlier, like they wanted to, then he would have. He should have been like right there on the doorstep, first choice, that sort of thing. But I think too much time has passed for it to. I think they missed their opportunity to really use him, which is sad.
I am sad.
It
Really
is
sad. Okay, let's do a fun question again, Grace. I have those sometimes, not always, but today,
Yay.
yes. So here's the question: What is a game that you don't want Hollywood to touch, like ever?
Like mitts off.
Just no. It's just a big no. Like nope. Mm-mm.
That's a really good question. I feel like most of the games I have played, they've already done.
kind of put their mitts on.
They've either already put their mitts on it or they're going to. I mean, they'll never be able to do any. I don't think they'll want to, but like, they'll never be able to do anything with Death Stranding that could work. I don't think that'll ever work as anything other than a video game.
Kojima's so wild in how much he clearly wants his games to feel like movies, but you could never adapt anything out of his games.
No,
and it is
can't.
the
There's
weirdest combination of things
like,
that he's managed to pull off.
It basically is a movie. It's basically a TV series that you occasionally get to play.
Yeah.
So it's already, but even though it's so cinematic and stunning, I still don't think it would ever work as anything other than a video game.
But I wonder if that's more to do with the fact Kojima is Kojima.
he is Kojima.
He really is Kojima, but like you know what I mean, where his stuff is so specific to his voice, where it's like if somebody else tried to mimic it, it would be like it's like anybody who tries to adapt Douglas Adams. It's very difficult to actually understand because those all of his books are so specific in their writings and whatnot. And I say that as somebody who's loved both kind of big adaptations of Douglas Adams things. Like I loved Dirk Gently and I loved the Hitchhiker's movie. Like I really loved that movie. But it's like I think it's really, really difficult to actually put that voice that he had, which was so unique to him, into something and get it right. Like I think Kojima is similar in a way, but not in the same way.
Yeah.
Those are two very different people.
Man.
Yeah, but still, it's very true. I have an answer, which is a complex one. But,
okay, please go.
I will highlight Mass Effect, which should never be touched.
Oh yeah.
Like. No, just don't touch it. It's like
Good
not
answer.
just it's sure it would be good as a space opera and
like a series. Like I think you could,
yes,
if you
like
were
a
to, actually take it, you'd have to do like a series with it, but you shouldn't.
Maybe you shouldn't because it's choice based. We grew to love Mass Effect and its story because it was our choices, even if they didn't matter at the end of the third game. But we're not going to talk about that. But just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. And then this is where the other point comes in, is that the choice based games is just like no, like until
so specific.
Detroit, it's just don't do it.
Yeah,
just there's no point in them. They already tell a movie story in a video game, basically, in a much larger scale, and it's your choices, it's your decisions. I know that with Black Mirror doing it, they are trying to, but
Bandersnatch was really fucking interesting, though. I will say that. Like, no, it was really fun as like a concept, and the way that they did it was very good because it was Black Mirror. Like, I really liked going through and kind of poking through that. It was so funny. I kept because I do this in video games as well. I always try to make as good decisions as possible because I'm like, I don't want to fuck these people over. But the thing with Bandersnatch was if you tried to make sure that he wasn't doing something stupid, you ended the story really, really early. And it's like, well, okay, now I have to fuck things up for him so I can actually see what else is going on.
Yeah. That's
so it's not really it's not really your choice at the end.
Yeah. Which, actually,
so,
if you're going to say Mass Effect, then obviously I'm going to say Dragon Age, don't you dare touch Dragon Age, because if I can't romance Dorian, there's no point.
There's no point.
There's just no point.
Really, really no point.
Happy anniversary, Dragon Age as well.
That's true. I think it was like 6 years.
That was this
week.
I
don't have anything.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it was like yesterday or the day before.
Yep.
Yay!
I
what
love
a game!
That game so much.
Dragon Age.
I really love that game.
I don't have anything.
It really cracks me up when it comes to that game because I didn't realize because I very purposefully went through and because my first playthrough I played as a female elf and I romanced Cullen just because I tried to romance Dorian until I found out he's really fucking gay. And then afterwards, I finished it and I went, I'm going to start again, like a couple months later. And I very purposely made a male character so I could romance Dorian. And now I don't want to do anything else because I'm like, this is my... Dorian's my boyfriend.
This is the canon.
But then I found out that if you do it properly, because like I always kind of fuck it up when I play BioWare games for the first time because I don't find everything properly first time around. If you kind of hear all of the background dialogue and stuff, Dorian gets with the Iron Bull, and I was like, no.
It's so funny.
Like, I'm sure it's cute, but it's absolutely not what it should be.
That one.
He's mine.
It's really funny actually. The way they did it, it's so funny.
I struggle getting my brain around the idea of those two together because I'm so attached to Dorian.
He's cheating on me?
He's my Dragon Age boyfriend. Actually, hang on. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any.
Oh God!
Get rid of all of my fucking notifications because I've got a thing on at the moment, but my background is actually of Dorian.
Oh my God!
It's a really beautiful piece of art. I wish I remembered who the artist was, but like I've had Dorian backgrounds for like pretty much all of this year and maybe a bit of last year.
That's great.
It's my love.
Oh, well, I was Alistair in the first one because I love Alistair. He's awesome.
Wonderful.
Same.
Come on. And then not Fenris in the second one because Fenris is just I have a thing for hurt people. I don't know. I'm weird.
Again, it's the sad boys.
Sad boys.
I am here
we love
for the
our
sad boys.
We love a sad boy.
I love us. And then Cullen for the third one.
Yeah, I do.
I'm here
Cullen
for
as
the
well.
sad boys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, my first one I did Zephyran because he immediately
Yes,
flirted with me, and I was like, yeah.
Sure.
I'm here. And then speaking of sad boys, Anders was my second one, who really like.
Oh.
that was a trip.
Anders was like coming in really hard.
Anders is coming in third act, like, I have to do a thing. I can't tell you about it. I'm so sorry. And then immediately starts wearing black because he's like the biggest emo boy ever.
What is this episode?
As it should be. Me confessing all of my BioWare.
To all the sad boys we've loved before.
Oh. That's gonna be the title.
That's gonna be the title of this episode.
To all the sad boys we loved before, every Tuesday only on Relator.
And I don't know if they're actually planning on doing this, but I really don't want to touch BioShock in any of their iterations.
I think they might be.
I know.
I think
maybe the first game, sure, but because Infinite is so complicated and has like such a big meaning to me personally, I'm like, don't
Yeah.
I don't think people would get on with it particularly well anyway, because I know that there are a lot of people who have like their own issues with Infinite because it's not like the original Bioshock games, and also it's a bit complicated in whether or not you think about it enough for it to actually make a sense. Like narratively speaking is a whole other debate, but I really loved that game. It was kind of the game that got me back into video games. So I'm like, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave this over here.
I think on Wikipedia they have a list of like future video game movies. Most of them delayed indefinitely, but there are a few titles on there that I'm like, interesting.
There's two here that I'm looking at that are very interesting to me, and that is it goes from the Just Cause movie, which sure it's like
I know what you're gonna say.
Lily, the one underneath this is Just Dance. How are they planning on making a movie out of Just Dance? Is it going to be like Step Up?
It's just going to be another. Maybe you get trapped in the game and you have to dance to save yourself. I don't know.
It's My Hero Academia, but it's the Just Dance movie. If you stop dancing, you die.
Oh my god. If you stop dancing. Yes, turn it into like a Saw movie, except you just have to dance.
Oh God!
Oh boy!
What is
pure
this
delirium?
episode?
That's what it is.
I don't know.
Oh God!
I don't apologize,
on
Tom.
here?
Good luck.
There's a Borderlands movie coming up, but I really couldn't give a shit about Borderlands. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
Honestly, there are a
I
lot
never
of
got
I've
into
tried Borderlands many times and I can't do it. Like only Tales from the Borderlands actually matters to me. And because I really love that game, but like the other Borderlands games, they're just not my cup of tea. And also, you know, fuck you, Randy Pitchford.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
Yeah.
I do not like the man.
I'd watch a Borderlands movie if they did it in the same art style. Because I love the art style of the game.
Interesting.
The art style is good,
that.
and I really enjoyed the fact that Telltale were able to keep the art style within.
Yeah.
It still feels like a Telltale game, but it's got the Borderlands art style in it, which is quite. I like the you know, the whole art style in The Wolf Among Us is the same way because it feels like a graphic novel, but it still feels like a Telltale game. It's like, how did you
love
get
that?
this? Very impressive.
Oh, also makes for some of the best cosplays.
It does. I love the way that people really...
Every time I see a Borderlands cosplay I'm just like, yes, I just want to.
It is very impressive.
Brilliant.
Do you guys know what Crossfire is? Because apparently there's one of those coming out.
Nope.
I've heard of Crossfire.
So it's a Crossfire film.
It sounds like
Pictures thing by a company. They originally came out from a company called Smilegate, who I've never heard of.
I've heard of Crossfire.
I don't know.
That's it.
Detective Pikachu is getting a sequel, which obviously it did so well it was not surprising.
Yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's is getting a fucking movie.
Oh God, no. I mean, I'll go watch it because it'll be funny to get scared by that. But
yeah,
that would actually make it really interesting if they go for like a comedy horror or just like if they did it in a comedy horror style. I would be all about it.
Yes, I think that would make sense. But altogether, I think, you know what, I'm just gonna say this, that I think they do the best adaptations, and best is like very loosely used here, is when they pick something that you wouldn't think that it would work as a movie. Like honestly, I wasn't sure about Sonic, and then I had a really good fun with it because they did it well. They did, like, you know, it wasn't anything huge or big, but like come on, it was really just an enjoyable and lovable movie at the end of the day. Same with Detective Pikachu as well. Like, everyone was like, "Oh, this is gonna be shit," blah, blah, blah. And then you went and watched it, and it was fun and adorable, and you know, like, Pikachu is the cutest fucking thing after Baby Yoda, and and you know, and it's like I would say that when they touch on something that you wouldn't think that it's gonna be good. They usually end up being fairly good. I'm not gonna lie. And then where you have the huge expectations, well, that's
Yeah,
when,
you're never going to meet those.
no.
Do you know this?
And I
So then is that a lesson for us to be a bit more open-minded when we go into experiences like this? Or should the writers be aware of the enormously high expectations that fans will have?
Both.
both, and
Yeah.
and also I think maybe their problem is that they are aware, and then
They're too aware.
they are too aware, and that's why they fuck it up a lot of times, because they just don't really know how to approach it,
Yeah,
knowing
it's that kind of thing of like maybe they go, this is what the expectation is, so we have to make sure that we actively ignore it so much that we do the wrong thing completely, or they try to do too much fan services, which, as we all know, also doesn't work.
Because then it becomes a like, oh look, see how clever we are. Look at that Easter egg. Oh,
we did a reference.
See? We did it. We did the thing. And then it's like, yeah, okay.
Okay, and where's your narrative? Why do I not care about any of the characters I've cared about before? You forgot about, the meat of movie.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's what I would say before we start wrapping the episode up is two things. One of them is an unpopular opinion, but I think so far the best movie that understood video games was Ready Player One. And I know it's from a book, so it's a cheating kind of thing. But I'm just gonna put it out there that Ready Player One understood video games and as a whole, and why we love them, and why we need to leave indie. Or is this just gonna say it?
Yeah, I still haven't seen it, but the other one I was thinking of when you mentioned that, because I wanted to kind of bring up, was the new Jumanji movie. I heard did a really good job with that.
Oh, yes. Good call.
Very good
I
call.
also haven't seen that. I'm very bad at this, but the things I read and the reactions I saw were incredibly positive. Where it's like I feel like we're getting more of an opportunity for people who play video games to kind of have their input and really because they when you play video games, you actually understand what it is that gamers want out of the properties that you're trying to adapt into other mediums, right?
Yes.
I think 100%. As well, the people who are making movies nowadays are the ones who played games back in the 80s and 90s. So you've got this whole new generation of filmmakers and everything. Like, I mean, look at Stranger Things. You've got it's just a big love letter to the 80s nerd culture. Essentially with aliens, but like because it's the 80s, so you've got a whole generation of filmmakers and game designers and TV show writers and everything like that who grew up with that kind of culture, so they're going to want to make sure that they take care of that if it's something that they're involved in. I keep getting like the worst shade on my face.
Hello, can you see me?
Can you see me now?
There's my forehead. I was like, I keep looking down, so now I'm just like,
just mysterious man look.
Yeah, but
look,
very
suddenly
mysterious.
Wait. Now I'm any Avenger in hiding. I don't have aviators, but
You're not wearing the bomber jacket.
It works.
I know I don't have a bomber jacket and aviators.
but it still works. We take it. We take it. So I think the other thing that I wanted to mention very quickly is I just heard this and I didn't find any confirmation anywhere, so it might not be true. But I remember seeing an article and seeing people freaked out that they cast an African American woman to play Elena in Uncharted, and people were outraged because Elena is white, and I'm like, so
I haven't think
heard that.
That's true, but if it was, I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care. That's my point, because that's why I said that I don't know if it's true or not. But why does it matter? Like,
oh no, actually,
it's like Hermione being cast in the play.
We've actually talked about this before. Hermione definitely should have been black anyway.
Yeah,
the whole time.
She should have been black. Yeah,
the entire time. But I think I've heard that Chloe's going to be in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I have seen.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is confirmed. That is confirmed.
Yeah, because I know that Nolan said that on the like reaction video he did, and he said, I think he said it, and then he was like, I don't know if that's actually been confirmed, so I'm probably about to get assassinated by a Sony employee. But
Sony snipers are gonna come out.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
said
I'm
that he
looking at
saw
thing
her
now.
on set and was like, that's Chloe. So
Yeah,
that'll be
she is.
interesting to see young Chloe. Can't wait.
I am very disappointed that they didn't ask me. I'm just gonna
I
say.
know.
It's ridiculous.
You're
really.
literally Chloe.
I am Chloe. But it's gonna be played by a girl named Sophia Ali.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I never heard of her. I'm not gonna lie.
She's like, been active for a few years, but I haven't really seen anything.
I am behind on her movies, and I should have been Chloe. I'm just gonna say it again.
Apparently, she was in Grey's Anatomy for about 2 years.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Probably
I
in
didn't watch it.
episodes that I didn't watch. So oh well. So yeah, and I don't know where. I think I read it on Twitter, and it just burned into my mind that people were outraged that Eleanor would be black, and I was like, who cares?
Why
Honestly.
is that a problem? Why?
Just grow up, internet.
Yeah,
Come on.
but it's like these are the same people who like. Well, no, actually, that's not true at all. I was going to say a sentence and then I realized that I meant the opposite. When it happens the other way around, and this is what I meant to say. When it happens the other way around, it's these people who suddenly come out of the woodworks and go, "Why are you so antsy about the fact that X, Y, and Z person is being played by a white person when it doesn't matter and X, Y, you know?" And it's like, well, it does.
It does.
It just does.
It does. But also, you know, in the other way around, like I would just bring up the most infamous one because that was just bullshit. When they cast Kate Mara to play Tiger Lily in the Pan movie.
Oh yeah, that was fucking huge.
Oh boy.
It's like, guys,
That's all I'm gonna say. Like it fucking matters. So sorry guys, but
Also,
shut up.
Jennifer Garner playing Elektra in the Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they were a couple at the time, but come on.
I thought they met on that movie.
Oh, did they meet on that movie?
I think they met
think
on
they
that
did
movie,
before,
and that's where they started their relationship. But
Yep.
But still, come on, guys.
Still. So yeah. I think we can wrap it up here. I would say.
in this,
So
the strangest of episodes that we possibly have done.
it was fun.
You're welcome.
In the best way.
In the best possible way. So Grace, I am turning to you again.
Yes.
Please share with us your socials, and we have to give a huge shout out because I'm just gonna shout them out. Without Greg and Grace, this
Probably
podcast
wouldn't
right
be a
here
thing.
probably wouldn't be a thing because they were the first one who told me that
Oh,
I should do a
bless.
podcast.
We're
and
getting a
then-
special guest right now.
Yes, baby. Oh,
He's not. He's camera shy.
No, no.
He's really not camera shy, but
Fair. So I already gave a shout out to your podcast, but yes. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
I think he shut the door on himself.
Yes,
he
probably.
did shut the door on himself. Come here. Come here.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Tess does that as well, where she'll push us like she'll come in and you'll be like, okay, I'll shut the door then, and then she'll just immediately turn around and be like, I'm going to leave now, and I'm like, but make up your
shut
mind.
the door, and then it's like, I regret nothing. I regret my decision immediately.
I don't want to be in here. Let me leave.
There we go. Yes,
good boy.
hello. That's him telling me, you haven't paid attention to me today. I know. Yes.
Dying.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, don't apologize for dog content.
Yeah, we like dog content. So yeah, we're gonna put the podcast in the link down in the
thank you.
description because it's fucking awesome. And it's your turn now, Grace. What else should we put in the description, please?
Well, yes,
wow.
you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, which I will be getting up and running again very soon. It's just at Frickwit, FRICKWIT, on pretty much all socials. That's me. And then Greg and I do irregularly scheduled podcast now because he's working a lot. The Greg and Grace Show, which is on all podcast platforms. And yeah, I think that's it.
Good
But
stuff. I'm not gonna lie, got a bit distracted watching.
I know.
Dog.
Yes, this is Watson for everyone who doesn't know. And he's like, no.
I'm done now.
No, I'm going. Well, Grace, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you so much.
This was
very, very
so
fun. A
lot of
excited
fun.
to come on the podcast. I've been so excited.
Yes, it has been pushed back too many times, but we finally did it.
Yes.
Oh, man. This has been fucking great.
I've loved it. I love this
Yes.
podcast so much.
I love you too. I love it. Oh,
I
hello.
agree. I agree.
He really wants to
Nathan
be.
agrees.
He really wants to be let out.
Oh, love it, baby.
He's like,
Baby.
yes, me too, me too.
Oh, dude, good.
Oh, there he goes.
There it goes. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. You know the regular things. Just take care. Wear your mask.
Masks.
Yes.
And
Wash your hands.
and all that.
Keep away
Wash your
from people.
hands. Yes. And I think that's it for today. So it was lovely to have our very own Pokemon trainer there, and then my dear friend Nathan Drake on the other end, and I was Chloe Freezer. So it was a weird episode. Just deal with it.
Very bizarre.
Chloe was. You know what I realized?
Roll with
I'm just gonna say it. If Misha Collins ever sees this, he's gonna be like, I
It's
know
her.
this is- it's her.
It was her.
It
So,
was her,
yes.
Your Honor.
Katie, shh. Shut up. I did not kidnap Misha Collins. Shut up, FBI. It would be Jensen anyway. Oops.
Every time she does
Every
this.
time. I'm sorry. All right, guys.
Better
Take
say
care.
goodbye.
Be good.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.